AP World. I'm Jack.
And I'm Walter.
And we are glad to present our broadcast on globalization today.
First up, our segment specialists present new developments in medicine.
Hi everyone, I want to talk to you about some of the health advances that take place during this time. Some guy named Alexander Fleming came up with a new medicine called penicillin. Penicillin was able to cure people of infections that were once seen as fatal. Many vaccines also started emerging at this time, such as the polio vaccine, and these helped save many lives too. Birth control was also created and has since then reduced birth rates.
With some of these new health advances, human lifespans have increased, and people are able to live longer lives. Also, this technology has led to an overall increase in population across the globe.
Hello, AP World, and welcome back. Now we're going to talk about religious changes that occurred throughout the world. We may have cool facts for you, so the next reporter will give you a quick update. In the 20th century, many things changed, including religion. The first ordained women in Christianity were ordained in this time. The Islamic world went from the peak of civilization to a husk of its former self. Many cults of personality and other cults were formed in this time. The ability for ideas to spread because of the interconnectedness of the world at this time allowed ideas to spread faster, including religions. While some religions rose and fell because of this, there are other ideas such as atheism and agnosticism that were greatly increased during this time period. For example, the number of people practicing Christianity in the United States went from 81% in 2003 to 72% in 2018.
We are expecting some new weather to move in. A surge of religious reformation and a spread of democracy is moving in, now that the Cold War has ended and the Soviet Union has collapsed. The United States has made it its mission to spread democracy across the globe in a fight against terrorism as a whole.
Welcome back. Now we're talking about culture. The culture of the world has been significantly affected by Western civilization. One of the most famous forms of music, known as jazz, was invented in the West. Major movie-making industries such as Hollywood, which were imitated by places such as Bollywood. There are also businesses and companies around the world that impact our view and the cultures they derive from.
I don't think I'm gonna make it, Mama. There's nothing to save me.
Ma'am, please calm down. I've just been told that there's a new treatment available called antibiotics.
I see a bright light.
It should be able to save your son.
I'm saved, Mama. I'm saved.
At this time, there were several new economic developments. First, there was what is known as the economic liberalization, where the economies of many countries, such as Chile and China, became less restricted than they had been before. There was also the movement of manufacturing plants to Asia and Latin America, where the labor costs were much lower. The creation of the World Trade Organization and multinational corporation have also boosted the economy of the world. There has been a great independence of economies and nations as well.
We bring you the latest updates of environmental changes. As the world skyrockets in population, the demand on the environment increases. Although the Green Revolution brings advances in agriculture, the world is running out of many supplies. As we continue to construct buildings, trees worldwide are being removed at a faster rate than we can plant them. Deforestation is a huge problem, as trees are also cleared out to make room for an increasingly urban lifestyle.
Desertification continues to rise as global temperatures do worldwide. As factories continue to pump smoke into the atmosphere, temperatures rise, as deserts in Africa and elsewhere. This air quality declines due to these emissions, especially in urban areas. The air continues to be polluted. This increases the risk of many deadly diseases like lung cancer, heart cancer, and strokes. The pollutants also get into the water, as many cities are located near the river and dump their waste into them.
The supply of fresh water is another concern within the world. Since about 3% of it is drinkable, it is important that we preserve what remains. And with pollution of fresh water, this number can drop even more in the future. And it also provides dangers to the environment that it affects. Protection of the world's non-renewable resources is key in maintaining the world. Since they're impossible to replenish, there need to be alternative methods in order to preserve it for future generations.
Coal was originally used as a fuel source. Now it is primarily petroleum and gas. Nuclear energy is able to be used, which is more renewable and cleaner overall. There are also things like solar power and wind power and water power that are also more renewable and cleaner. This just in. After years of being under the Chinese Communist Party, China became more open to the world, and thus its citizens are able to see foreign ideas and become inspired. This inspiration led to many protests to push for reforms and eventually culminated in the massacre of Tiananmen Square.
Organizations that did not align themselves with a specific form of government began to form and serve the world. These NGOs and non-governmental organizations serve to provide the world with uniform justice and equality. The UN and International Court of Justice are two of the largest organizations. Civil rights acts also began to become much more commonplace around the world. These acts granted equality for minority groups and helped to make sure government processes were fair. Specifically, the abolishment of the caste system in India in 1949 and the Civil Rights Act in the United States in 1965.
The leaders of women's rights were commonly known as Susan B., Anthony, Elise Paul, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucy B., and Ida B. Wells. Those are some of the few leaders that made women's rights possible.
Well, folks, I'm Jack,
I'm Walter.
and that's all for tonight.
Good night.